It was perfect in my head.
Hey.
Things are changing.
Hello. Hey, y'all.
I'm still here.
Hey, Court. Hey, Yolanda. Hey, Netta. All right. Got a few people on, and I don't think I am going to be on here all night. So let's get into the episode, shall we? Okay. So, y'all know how I like to do. Typically, I like to start it off with prayer. So let's get into it. God, we thank you so much. We appreciate you. I pray for each person that is on this live right now. I pray that you bless them. Anything that they have been praying to you for, I pray, God, if it's in your will, that you would give it to them. I pray for each person's soul. I pray, God, that you would save them. I pray that they have ears to hear from you and hearts to continue to search for you and seek you, Lord. In Jesus' name, we thank you and we love you. Amen. All right, let's get into this episode. So it starts off where we left off, and Zach goes to Karen's lawn and he's like, I want a DNA test. And she's like, excuse me? What you mean? What you mean you want a DNA test? And he's like, we think. Now, I want to stop there because I be seeing a whole bunch of people on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, and they like, Fatima need to stay out of it. Some people is like, Fatima need to stay out of it. And then you got other people that's like, now she need to know. And then other people is like, now Zach need to handle his own stuff. Pick a side. you know, pick a side and stay there because we either want them unified or we want Zach to handle stuff on his own. Which one is it, right? But anyway, so he's like, we feel like I shouldn't be we feel like I shouldn't give you money to support this child until I know for sure that this is my baby, which is fair. I don't see anything wrong with him actually wanting to know if this is his baby or not. And so Karen is like, Zach, we've been over this. I already told you Aaron is not the father of this child. And this is why I say you got to pay attention. You have to pay attention to wording and stuff. And I think that the writers and Tyler Perry, especially because Tyler Perry started this foolishness. But I really, side note, I really wish they wrapped this whole storyline up. At this point, I don't care who the baby daddy is. Just wrap this whole storyline up, please. I'm so sick of Zach and Karen. Take me out the group chat, okay? Take me out. Mute me. okay? I'm tired. Tired. I'm tired of Zach and Karen. Tired. Okay. Anyway. Anyway. So she said, and this is why I be saying you have to pay attention to wording. And like I said, I think that they do this on purpose. Karen says, Zach, we've been over this. I told you I did the DNA test, and Aaron is not the father, so that only leaves you. Zach says, no, no, no. You didn't say the magic words. He says, you didn't test the DNA against my DNA. So just because there are rules out Aaron does not automatically make it my baby. It just means that Aaron is not the father, which that's the truth. Zach is not in the wrong here with him. He's not in the wrong for wanting to hold Karen accountable, wanting to know if the baby is his. The only thing that Zach is wrong about is the timing of wanting to know about it. He didn't have to go in there wanting to know about it then. That's the only thing that I'll say. And I'm pretty sure I have some people that disagree with me in the comments. Totally fine. You're not wrong either, because it's a TV show. You're it is what it is, which is why I love having these dialogues. I love having these open dialogues and discussions, because the beauty of these TV shows is that nobody is incorrect. Okay? So, another thing that I didn't agree with is him saying, I heard how you was starting it up. I heard how you was starting it up on the yard back in 2003 during the cute out party. He didn't say all that. I'm just putting my spin on it. He didn't say all that. But he did say to her, I heard how you were in college based off the conversation that he and Danny had. She then says, Fatima filling your head up with all this stuff. Now, Karen, baby, I know that you have a disdain for Fatima. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna read your comment, honey. Give me 1 second. Karen, sweetie, I know that you have a strong disdain for Fatima. And I understand that, because nobody can make you like who you dislike. I get that. Fans, hey, Miss Cheryl. Fans may just have to just grasp and understand the fact that Karen may just never like Fatima, which is fine. But Karen, baby, I'm going to need you to use your ears. How would Fatima know what you were doing on the yard in 2003? That information came from one of your homegirls, baby. Anyway, anyway. So they go back and forth about that. Zach was, and one thing that I will say that I do commend Zach on is, even though he did come in there, made a couple of petty jokes, and he came in there on her grand opening day and asked for the DNA test. He was not aggressive. He was not loud and stuff. He was talking to her calmly. Karen, I didn't call you any names. Karen, I didn't say you was a slut. I didn't call you a liar. I didn't say you were a whore. I just said I'd like a DNA test. I want to be in my child's life. But in order for me to do that, I need to actually know if this baby is mine. And again, he's not wrong for that. So Trey peeps the conversation. He peeps Karen's body language. He comes over. Hey, Karen, are you good? Zach was like, oh, I see what this is. It's supposed to be your new man. Yeah, all right. Miss Lisa comes over, tells Zach to leave. She's like, Zach, I told you that you don't need to come here. Which Karen hears that. That puts it in her mind that I'm thinking it put in her mind that Zach had the conversation with Miss Lisa about the possibility of him asking Karen about the DNA. Y'all tell me in the comments what y'all think about that. So that happens. Zach leaves. Pam tells Karen, look, I never side with Zach, but in this instant, oh, Karen basically tells Zach, look, you know what? I'm not doing no DNA testing. As a matter of fact, I don't even want you in our child's life no more. So you I don't need nothing from you. And I'm not doing a DNA test. You're not gonna be in our child's life, basically. And Miss Lisa grabs Zach. Zach leaves. That was the end of that. Um, Pam is like, Pam then is like, look, Karen, typically I don't side with Zach, but in this case, hey, hey Giovanna, hey Miss Cheryl. And yes, Renata, you're absolutely right. Renata says she expected Zach to just take his word, which he was until talking to Danny. He wasn't hearing Fatima when she basically said the same thing Danny said, minus her college days. And I want to speak to that really quickly. Zach, honey, this why I be saying that Zach used to eat Palmer's glue when he was a kid. Because Zach, Karen, Karen's homegirls are basically saying, "Hey, yo, you need to You need to make sure that that child is actually yours. And these aren't just random people. These is girls that know Karen and have been knowing Karen for a good 15, between 15 and 20 years. So these are credible people. Zach, you've only known, yes, very short yellow book special. Zach, you've only known her for 3 years versus her homegirls that's been knowing her over a decade. So yeah. Anyway, Pam is like, look, typically I don't side with Zach, but if he wants to be in that child's life, you need to let him. And she was like, I'm not taking, and Karen's like, I'm not taking no advice from you. And she was like, look, I understand that, but you need to get that money. You need, basically, Pam is looking at it from a perspective of, you need to get that child support check because these bills here ain't gonna pay themselves. So that's the only reason why Pam is pushing her to let Zach be in the baby's life. So that Zach can financially take care of Karen, so that Karen can be set financially and the shop will be taken care of. And I kind of want to speak to that too, because Miss Lisa actually even said something, and I'm gonna dig a little deeper into that later. Yes, yes. Miss Lisa actually said something to that too. But Pam, the fact that Karen, the fact that Pam is only like, yeah, yeah, this shop is going to be straight because you're gonna get this child support money from Zach, and Zach's money is going to essentially take care of the bills and things here. So Pam, you working for this woman and you don't think that clients and stuff gonna come in. You don't think this shop is going to do well financially. You don't think this shop is going to turn a profit. Then what did y'all even open it for? Am I making sense? Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about that. Same thing with Miss Lisa. Miss Lisa, you just wrote a check. You came in and gave your daughter a whole check to keep the lights on the very next day. What did you even do that for? If you don't even think, if you don't even think that your own child, if you don't think that your own child can do hair good enough to keep the lights on, what is Karen even doing Karen's fresh start for? If y'all don't even think that the start gonna be fresh enough to keep the doors open, what is she doing this for? I see why she have that somber look on her face every single day. I see why she depressed. And the only time she had a smile is when she cut the ribbon. Might as well put the ribbon back together. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all let me know what y'all think. So anyway, we cut to another scene. Danny actually comes out the back, which I thought was a little weird. Danny came out the back, and Danny obviously was drunk, but she came out the back talking about she wanted to propose a toast, talking about Karen's baby daddy drama, how she's been knowing Karen since college and stuff like that. And they actually had to grab Danny because Danny was about to spill some more tea, and it looked like she wanted to embarrass Karen, which I thought was weird. And I first of all, I definitely didn't agree with it, because I didn't agree with it for a few reasons. First of all, because if that's allegedly, if the storyline is this is your home girl, what are we doing this for? Second of all, it gave the appearance of Danny was trying to get there before Zach got there, and she was trying to run interference. Third of all, it seems like the writers are trying to shift Danny's storyline to make it look like Danny is jealous of Karen and actually wants to embarrass Karen and exactly and is actually getting off, if you will, on Karen having issues in the I don't know who my baby daddy is department, if you will. And if that's the case, if that's where the writers is taking this storyline, I don't like that. I do not. Yes. Okay, so I'm not by myself with that. And if that's where the writers is taking it, I don't like it for a few reasons. I don't like it because, for one, that's definitely not the continuity that we're used to, that I'm used to as a fan, that's been a fan since season 1, episode 1 of the show. Number two, if you have to do that to your friend, if you being that pissed off at your friend that you have to marvel in the fact that your homegirl is going through something right now, then it's definitely time for you to let that friendship go. So, yes, that happened. And I just really thought that there was a very weird scene because it happened just like that. Yes, definitely what she said last week, Yes, yes. It's just giving weird, and it's not what we're used to seeing. If anything, we're used to it being the other way around. So because that's the way the storyline has been since the beginning. It's been the other way around since the beginning. So being that we're seeing it, with on the flip on the other side of the coin, it's just I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. But anyway. So that happened. We actually got to see Zach and Fatima being lovey-dovey, and I actually thought that that was really, really cute. Zach gets home. He obviously has been to the gym. He was in a mood, of course, because of what happened at the salon. Um, he tells Fatima about it. He did he did not tell Fatima that he went to go see Danny first. And of course, I feel a way about that because, of course, omitting information is lying. We all know that Fatima's deal breakers is do not lie, do not cheat. We've seen a scene where she has told Zach that omission is the same thing as lying. So if you're gonna tell it all, especially to a woman like her, because she's already made it clear what her boundaries are, what she will accept, what she will not accept. So Zach should have been 100% clear. Anyway, so we see a scene, we see them. Zach was like, I had to let some steam off because I went to go see Karen, brought up DNA test. She was pissed off, of course. And of course, Fatima was like, yeah, well, that's what else is new? She's always pissed off. And he exactly. I don't even like what the writers is doing with that, because we even saw in season, when they first got together, he was telling her everything. Anyway, let me know if y'all want me to do a video about, the continuity from the show, from the show where we were then versus where we are now. Anyway, anyway, so he's like, yeah, she got pissed off. I asked about the DNA test. I got you, Giovanna. So he asked about the DNA test, and he told her that he asked about the DNA test, and she was pissed off. And Fatima was like, yeah, well, she's always pissed off. Nothing new about that. And she was like, yeah, but I hope she knows until a DNA test is proven that it is yours, that she ain't getting a dime. She was like, because I don't see what the big deal is. Just do the test. It is what it is. If it's yours, it's yours. Which that's the whole point. You know, we're not. She was like, we're not asking for much. If it's yours, and you're gonna be there. If it ain't yours, then it's just not yours. And Fatima said what we've been saying. She just wants it, and Fatima made a great point. She wants it to be yours. That's why she's so mad. She wants the baby to be yours, which is that's the difference. She wants the baby to be yours. So that happened. They talked about the hearing that's coming up. Zach gave her flowers, not literal flowers, but he gave her some affirmations and stuff. He let her know how much of a good woman she is, and he was like, "Look, I couldn't do half the stuff that I'm doing if it wasn't for you." Because she pulled out some pamphlets and stuff about some schools and some therapy and stuff that his son, that actually is his Michael, is going to need, because with the things and stuff that he's been through, and that made him light up, because he's looking like, yo, she's out. Fatima is always thinking about things that, the greater good, and things that can make him better, his son better, them better, right? And so they talked about that. And yeah, I loved it. So that happened. And I believe after that, and then they went to go Zack attack Roxy stuff. So that happened, and I believe it skipped to the very next day. um I believe after that happened, it goes to Danny in therapy. And if it didn't, we're gonna talk about that. So Danny in therapy. Danny talks about how it was a breakthrough scene, y'all, and whoo, I cried. It was a breakthrough scene, and Danny talks about how she feels like she lets the wrong man in, and she talked about Preston, how they were dating and stuff, and how Preston came from a racist family and stuff, but when he was out doing him, she got with Jonah, and Jonah said some things to her, and he got physical with her, and she ran him over with her car. And the therapist asked her if that was the first time she'd ever been in an abusive situation, and she said no. And it took her back to the first time, which was in college, and that opened up some stuff. And if you've never been in therapy, first of all, if I definitely highly recommend anybody who does not have a therapist to please get one, because yeah, healing for the soul and for the spirit and for the mental. Yeah, yeah. And shout out to Mignon, because she murked that scene. She did. And I don't know the actress who played the therapist, but if anybody knows her name, please put it in the comments. But yeah, and if you Jesus and therapy put together, ooh baby, woo, they insane. Anyway, so Danny actually had a really good breakthrough. And of course, she made, Danny wouldn't be Danny if she didn't make a joke. But she did make a joke. And the therapist, dug deep a little bit in that session. And she did go see Tony. She was a little discombobulated, because therapy does that, because therapy does go to those deep deep rooted wounds and stuff that we either suppress, don't feel like talking about and stuff. And a lot of times you have to sit with it. You got to sit with it, you have to process it and stuff. And that's what it makes you vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? And Danny was vulnerable, and you can definitely tell that Danny does not like being vulnerable. So she was vulnerable and stuff, and she was talking to Tony, and she was like, "Look, I'm not gonna be able to do lunch." And I can tell that she thought about that, and she went back to him, and she was like, "Look, I was a little, I was being a little weird and stuff. I was a little off, but it got deep in therapy, and I just want to apologize. This actually was my favorite scene, and the reason why it was my favorite scene, because when you're in a relationship and you're doing therapy, it's important to be open with your partner too, because you don't want to leave that person in the dark, you know. And it also helps that Tony is in therapy too. So he was open. He was like, if you he was like, don't shut me out. And she was like, that's not what I'm trying to do. And she was like, that's not what I'm trying to do, but I learned today that one of my defense mechanisms is shutting people out. and I'm going to do my best not to do that. So I love that conversation that they had. And he was like, she, because of what happened in the therapy session, she wanted to be by herself to sit with it. But then she realized, okay, maybe I could use some company. And he was like, I could be your shoulder. So I love that scene. So that happened. Um, the law office. Um, Andy and Fatima. Fatima wanted to see about getting some insight on Karen. So she was like, look, can you talk to Karen because we really need to get this test done. And Andy was like, well, you need to talk to Zach because Zach went up there on that rah-rah stuff. And, you know, and Danny told me that he went up there, that he went, and Danny told me that he went to her first and asked for advice and stuff like that. But at the same time, she was drunk and high anyway. So who knows? And Fatima was like, and she also, and Danny also told me that he got into a fight with somebody named Trey. And and Andy said, well, hold on now. Hold on. First of all, Zach can't get into no fight with nobody. Second of all, regardless of if it happened there or not, I hear you about Fatima was like, I hear you about it not being the appropriate time and place to do that, but we need to know, you know. And she was like, so can you talk to Karen? And so I do appreciate Andy saying it. She was like, look, I'm not touching that. That's not my business. What is my business is the fact that I am y'all's lawyer for the child that we know is Zach's. So we're gonna focus on that. So I love the fact that Andy listened to Fatima in that moment and she reeled her back in and was like, look, let's focus on this right now. Okay. This case is important. Let's deal with this because we know that baby Michael is Zach's. So let's just deal with that right now. And I think that Andy is in the space of I got my own stuff going. And like I've said this on every single video that I've done, all of the women, all of Karen's friends are in different spaces in their life right now. They're in spaces where they got their own stuff going on and they don't have time to be worried about who's Karen baby daddy. So they're worrying about what they can. I have this quote: "You can do anything, but you can't do everything." And if I'm honest, I actually love the fact that all of the women are in that space of, look, I ain't got time to be worried about Karen and who her baby daddy is. Karen to figure that out on her own. I'm gonna worry about and deal with what I can deal with, and what I can deal with is the fact that I'm y'all's lawyer. Baby Michael is Zach's baby. So let's focus on that. That's what you need to be worried about right now, too. Y'all will deal with Zach and the DNA when y'all can deal with it. But today, we're going to worry about this. And you need to tell Zach to stop getting into people that he don't know. So, next problem. So, shout out to Andy for that. Y'all let me know what y'all think about. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that in the comments. Um, what else happened? Oh, I forgot to mention Maurice met somebody, and Maurice met somebody. I think he met him online. They had been vibing and stuff. He met somebody online that had been vibing and stuff, and then they finally met up at that Pride Club or what have it. And okay, yes, I'm gonna get to that in a minute. And they had been vibing and stuff. Looks like it's gonna be a date number 2, but that happened. Um, I want to talk about that. Maurice's friend, the white guy. I don't like him. Let me tell you why. We ain't seen him since Maurice had got arrested. I hadn't seen nobody at the Pride Club trying to rally up $1 million to try to get Maurice out of jail. Why did Sabrina? And I know I'm going backwards, but just go with me for a second. Why was Sabrina the only one? And I've had this thought for a minute, but since we on live and we talking about it, and I just so happen to see the white guy on today's episode, it made me think about it. Why was Sabrina the only one trying to rally up $1 million to get Maurice out of jail? Now they did a whole benefit. They did a whole benefit extravaganza thing at that club for Maurice. That white guy is his homeboy since college. All of that. Why his homeboy? Why his little homeboy wasn't screaming free Maurice? Why his homeboy wasn't helping Sabrina get $1 million? He could have did a GoFundMe with the pride people. Whatever. I'm not trying to be insensitive, okay? So forgive me. But I'm seriously asking. That's your boy, that's your homie. Why you wasn't trying to you ain't taking no collection plate? Cause you my homeboy. Ain't no way. I wouldn't have nothing to say to him if I was Maurice. Ever. Anyway, I just want to say that. I just want to throw that in there. Y'all let me know. I know that wasn't about season 7, but y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments about that. Anyway, Sabrina and Rich. So they are at the little juicy juice thing. Rich's juices, whatever that's called. Richie Rich juice, whatever it's called. Rich's celery bar. I don't know. Anyway, they was there and they were going over Rich's business plan or something like that. And Sabrina brought up the fact that she wanted to freeze her eggs. Rich was like, okay, that's great. But he wasn't really feeling it. And Sabrina caught the vibe that he wasn't feeling it. And he was just like, we can talk about that later. And she left. And we're gonna see next week that she's gonna tell her friends, I'm gonna freeze my eggs. And if Rich is not in for it, then he's not the guy for me. Here's my thing with that. Sabrina, baby, you cannot bully a man into having kids with you if that's not what he wants to do. Now, I do applaud her, however, for saying if he doesn't want what I want, then we can just let the relationship, then I can just let the relationship go. Because, I mean, it's okay that Sabrina wants kids. It's okay that Sabrina wants a family. It's okay that she wants to get married, have kids, and stuff like that. But what's not okay is her trying to make this man have them if he doesn't want them. It's also okay. It's also okay that Rich does not want to have kids. He's been married before and it's fine. He probably, I mean, he said it, he's been married before. He's also had to, raise his siblings and stuff. He's been around that. He's decided, excuse me, that's not what he wants to do. The same way that women can decide that they don't want to do stuff is the same way that men can decide, hey, I've had this before. That's not what I want to do. Neither are wrong. And absolutely. Renetta said, I do like the fact that he is honest with her about wanting children. She needs to decide if she wants to put energy in this relationship when they don't have the same wants. Absolutely. Absolutely. And her staying with him is not going to make him change his mind. Absolutely. And her just popping up pregnant ain't gonna make him say, okay, I want kids now. She's just gonna end up pregnant and with a guy. She's gonna end up pregnant with a man. Her being pregnant with a guy who don't want kids. That's said he don't want kids. Exactly. 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 Her popping up pregnant is going to make him walk away. 1000%. It's either gonna make him walk away or he gonna stay with her and he just gonna resent her. And she can't be mad that he resented her, especially if he told her up front, hey, this ain't what I want. What else happened? Penelope walks into Gary's office. I couldn't see what she found. Y'all put it in the comments. But she found something and she played it off when he walked in. And Gary got so mad at him. Gary got so mad at her when she found it. Gary, I don't know how to pronounce this. I don't know how to pronounce the guy who played Cheeto. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. That he is the best villain, and I say this every time. He is the best villain. He's the best villain that Tyler Perry has ever created, baby, because he is playing Gary's hashtag surviving scary Gary. Oh my goodness. Oh, shout out to y'all who were on here last week. We laughed so hard about surviving scary Gary. Anyway, okay, so she found a warrant. She so Gary found a warrant. Penelope found a warrant and pictures of another woman. And then Gary came in and was like, what the hell you doing in here? Oh, I just bought you some food and I couldn't of all the lies that Penelope could come up with, I couldn't find no the darn people. They didn't give me no silverware. Penelope. And even Gary looked at her stupid because Gary don't keep silverware in his office. Penelope. Baby. You couldn't come up with no other lie. You could have said you could have said you dropped something. You could have said anything. Gary knows that you were up to something, honey. You are you're talking to a man who does this for a living. You're talking to a man who done got over on half of the women in Atlanta. That's why he looked at you upside your big head, baby. Because you can't you can't game no nigga that's been doing this longer than you, Pooh. Okay. And why have you been pregnant for 490 days? Writers do better. I love y'all, but please do better. Please. Because if she was 8 months, 3 months ago, what y'all get when y'all put that together? Anyway, anyway. What else happened? The page girl. So Sabrina goes back to the office. The page girl is trying to get Sabrina caught up and says that she messed up a file and one of the numbers was off $500,000. So Paige is trying to get Sabrina fired. And Paige ain't playing fair. So yeah, that happened. Um Zach was sitting down doing they get back to the other scene with Zach and Fatima. Zach is sitting down doing some paperwork. Yep, Zach is doing some paperwork and he trying to get ready because they actually have the arbitration the next day. And Zach is doing the paperwork and stuff, and Fatima, they're talking about it and stuff. He makes the statement, both of my kids. I'm like, oh, this is why I can't with him. This is why I can't do this with him and Karen. You went to this girl's shop 35 minutes ago saying I need to get a DNA test. And now you're sitting down at your table and now you're talking about both of my kids. And then you get mad at Fatima when she says things like, well, we don't know that for sure. I'm starting to think that he's sniffing that stuff that Gary is sniffing too. Maybe that's why he called him. Nope, I'm not going to. I'm sorry, y'all. I done called Zach a crackhead. Y'all forgive me. I called Zach a crackhead. Good Lord. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm trying to think. Did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? Oh Lord Jesus Christ. His mama definitely, his mama absolutely was Gladys. He's sniffing at Gladys. Definitely. His mama was Gladys. Yup. Sure was. Okay. Let me think. What else happened? Oh, there was a scene that I actually liked too. Fatima and Andy. When they got ready to go, Fatima said to make sure that she asks Jordan. I'm not feeling this new Jordan either, but she asked Fatima asked Andy to ask Jordan about if he had any secrets and stuff that she needed to know about. And she was like, "Well, I don't, I just don't want to. I don't want to ruin anything because and Fatima was like, look, girl, I know you all in love and stuff. I know how happy you are, and I love that. But you remember, at one point in time, you was happy with Gary too. So you don't want no surprises and shockers and stuff like that. So you just need to make sure he on the up and up. So Andy and um Andy and Jordan goes out to eat, and why was he sitting down kissing on her hand like she was a 2-month-old baby? He just sitting there. Oh gosh. Anyway, so they're sitting there and they're talking and stuff, and she was trying to see if he was on the up and up and all of that. They leave out. Gary is outside the restaurant stalking it. Hayden calls and it's like, look, um, look, I overheard Jordan and overheard Andy and I overheard Andy and Fatima talking about some possible mess that's going on with the last senator. And Gary was like, well, it may be some mess going on and with Jordan. And Hayden was like, what, you gonna create some mess? And he was like, don't worry about it. I ain't telling you nothing. And he was like, look, only reason I was acting like that is because of the FBI. You still my boy. People, I'm telling you, people like Hayden, you need to watch them. Need to watch people like Hayden. But anyway, that was pretty much the episode. Let me look in these comments. So Renata says Zach wants Karen's baby. Oh, I forgot to talk about Miss Lisa. So Miss Lisa comes in to give Karen a check the next day. And she says to Karen, she was like, you would need to be going through all of this if you would just be honest with Zach. I mean, if you would have just been on the up and up with Zach. I want to talk about that comment, y'all, because her making that comment says to me that Karen knows exactly who the daddy is. And she knows that it ain't Zach's baby. And Miss Lisa knows who the daddy is. What y'all think? Do y'all think that? Do y'all think that Miss Lisa knows who the baby daddy is? Or do y'all think or do y'all think that Miss Lisa knows who the baby daddy is? Or do y'all think that Miss Lisa knows that Karen knows who the baby daddy is? I think that it's the latter. I think that Miss Lisa knows that Karen knows who the baby daddy is. And I think that Miss Lisa knows that Karen knows that the baby is not for Zach. I also think I also think that Miss Lisa knows that she knows her daughter. Miss Lisa knows her daughter. And she knows that her daughter is hiding something because Karen is this is about pride. Karen, she was like, I don't want to be accused, and I'm tired of being questioned, and I'm tired of being accused. And Miss Lisa said, if you don't have nothing, and she basically said, if you don't have nothing to hide, go ahead and take the test. You asking me for money, you asking me for money and stuff, and this shop barely making it when you can just be honest. Yes, and I don't like that either. Somebody said, court said she knows something. However, it's being implied that Karen will use Zach child support to pay her shop rent. Okay, child support is for the support of the child. Child support. It's not called shop support. It's not called Karen's Fresh Start support. It ain't called salon support. You can't use that as you can't use child support as income, Karen, baby. That's for your baby, sweetheart. So Karen, and another thing, Karen does not talk about this baby. She does not talk about the baby. She doesn't even act like she's happy that the baby is coming. It seems like to me, it seems like this baby is used as a pawn. Sorry, it seems like this baby is used as a pawn. I cannot. Am I the only person that's getting that feeling? She don't talk about the. She does not talk about the baby in a positive way. You know. And I'm also glad. Trey was like, "So is that your baby daddy?" Yeah, unfortunately. And he was like, "Well, it seems like he wants to. It seemed like he wants to know who. It seemed like he want to be in the child's life. And if I was him, I had that same energy. Shut Karen right on up. What's wrong with that? And again, there is nothing wrong with Zach wanting to know. There's nothing wrong with Zach wanting to know if he's the child's father or not. And I keep saying, Karen did not. This has gone too far for Karen, and that is why Karen is unraveling. Karen is unraveling because what she expected. Exactly. Exactly. Courtney said when Miss Lisa said she knows Karen is still in love with Zach was a big statement. Karen, she sure didn't. She sure didn't. Here's the thing though. Karen told Zach back in season 3 when the pregnancy was first revealed. Karen said, "Zach, I'm pregnant." Zach was about to fix his lips to ask a question. Karen assumed he was about to say, "If it's mine." But that wasn't what Zach was about to ask. And so Karen said, "Don't you dare say if it's mine." Zach said, "So you gonna sit there and lie and say that you ain't been with Aaron?" Karen says, "That was once and a lot less than you and Fatima, I'm sure. And that was just recently." Zach then says, "Are you sure?" Karen says, "Yes, I'm sure. And do not ask me that again." So one thing, Karen does not like being asked questions. And we have seen this from season 1 up until now. Karen does not like when people ask her anything. Nobody. From her friends to her mama to Zach, she does not like being asked questions. She expects people to just take her word for stuff and go with the flow. Zach says, "Okay, I understand that. I understand you sure. But how do you know?" She says, "I missed my period." Zach says, "Okay, I hear you, but that could be a lot of things. Did you take a test?" Karen said, "No." Fast forward to when she took a test. She only took two with Zach. She only took two. She took 2 tests with Zach. Go back and watch that episode. She took 2 tests with Zach, and she was just as shocked that she was pregnant as Zach was. Exactly. She just don't want Zach questioning her about nothing. She don't want nobody questioning her about nothing. She expected Zach to just say, "Oh my God, yay, you're pregnant. Wonderful. Forget Fatima. Forget everybody. Forget everything I said. Forget everything you said. Forget you getting me arrested for credit card debt. Forget it. Forget the credit card fraud. Forget everything. You and me for life. Zara for life. Woohoo! Come here, girl. Give me a hug." She expected him to just pick her up and love on her and stuff. And they just live happily ever after in that office and do it and all of that stuff. She did not expect Zach to ask her questions. She expected him to leave Fatima and be with her. And then she expected to tell Aaron she was pregnant. And Aaron just say, okay, and knock all that stuff over and leave her alone. But Aaron started asking questions. Okay, how far along are you? You don't know. What you mean you don't know? It's not your baby. So you don't know how far along you are, but you think it's Zach's, and you haven't have you been to the doctor yet? Well, how do you know how far along you are, and if it's Zach's if you haven't been to the doctor yet? Okay, Aaron, I don't want to do this. We're not gonna do this. I just told you so you could leave me alone and stop pursuing me. Whoa, you think that's gonna make me stop pursuing you? No, Karen, I love you. I love this baby, even if it's not mine. Threw her whole plan off. Stop telling me what I want to hear, Aaron. Then Aaron gets in the car. Karen, I've been doing some math, and there's a strong possibility that it could be my baby. Okay, Aaron, I'm gonna go to the doctor. Well, look at God. Won't he do it? Won't he will? I got a doctor that I know. I'll even pay for it for you. I'll pick you up tomorrow at 8. Get to the doctor. Doctor says, "Oh, well, you are pregnant." Karen had this glowing and beautiful bright smile on her face. Doctor says, "I'm surprised you picked it up that early because you are barely 4 weeks." Karen ain't smiled since. Why y'all think that is? She ain't smiled since. Now what do we get when we put all of that together? The next doctor she goes to. Well, we did that conception date, and we checked the conception, and we did the ultrasound test. And according to what you said about your last period, you conceived on the 12th. Are you sure? Yeah. It's not exact science, but we can get pretty close. And you conceived on the 12th. So not the 19th. She was banking on that 19th date. Her body language told it all. And Danny took that calendar out because she was not going to say nothing to her friends. She wasn't gonna tell her friends nothing until Danny took that. I remember. Get my calendar. It's Zach's baby. It's Zach's baby. So it is either Aaron's baby or she was with somebody else. She is pushing that baby. She is pushing that baby to be Zach's. Because why would you want your baby to be a man for a man who you can't stand? Because you really can't stand Zach. Things that make you go, hmm. But anyway, those just my tidbits. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. What y'all think? Yeah, definitely could have been her lying. Because if you notice, she's been honest with everybody except for Zach. She has even told her friends, even Aaron, according to the timeline. It could be yours or it could be Zach's. She's told her friends, I don't know who the child's father is. It could be Zach's. It could be Aaron's. She has not told that to Zach. She can't tell that to Zach because telling that to Zach will be her admitting that she's flawed as well. She can't tell Zach that Zach is not the dad or that it's possible that Zach is not the dad because then she'd have to admit that, hey, I was with someone else too. That I've been calling you all kind of names. I've been pointing the finger at you when we've both been in a glass house. So, exactly. The only thing that she said to him is, Aaron's not the dad. And yeah, she did not bank on Zach asking her questions, saying, you know what? This don't sound right. So we're here because, and also sitting in a lie and stuff that, a lot of people are like, oh, she's unraveling and stuff because she's going through it and because she misses Zach and watching the man that you love and stuff. And I'm not saying that those things aren't true because a lot of things can be true simultaneously. So I'm not saying that those things aren't true, but we can't negate the fact that, we can't negate the fact that Karen has also not disclosed information with Zach too. Karen did be intimate with more than just Zach around the exact same time. That is also a fact. It's what we saw on the TV. Is what we saw on the show. It happened. So she also needs to tell Zach, yes, I was intimate with you and I was intimate with Aaron. It is it is a chance that you're not the dad. Absolutely. Definitely. Mhm. So yep, it looks like next week. Don't really look like a whole lot is gonna happen next week, but it does. It I did see the clip, and I did see it looks like Fatima is gonna. We get to see Nazinga next week, and looks like Fatima is gonna be like, I want to have my own kids, and I didn't see my life coming. I didn't picture my life panning out this way. Which are fair feelings. You know, those are fair feelings. So we shall see. Oh, and looks like I think next week is Sabrina's birthday, which is gonna be interesting to see because we have not seen an episode where somebody is celebrating their birthday since the pilot episode when Andy was celebrating hers. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see. I'm excited to see that. Excited to see that episode. I am pretty excited to see that. We get to see Tamara again. So yep, that was the episode. I have been on here an hour and it's 10:30. We all got work in the morning. So that was the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed my live reaction to episode 5. I want to say that was. If I put it wrong, I'll edit it. But I love y'all in real life. Thank you so much for joining me. And make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Y'all have a good night. I love y'all.